Discuss possible action regarding minutes from August 19th, 2024 meeting. I'll make a motion we accept.
I'll second it.
Ready? Okay. Hawkins?
Extra pen?
There you go.
Hawkins?
Here.
For the minutes.
We're approving the minutes for the last meeting. We had a second.
Yes.
Okay, Alan?
Yes. She hasn't
You're
been sworn
probably
in.
abstain.
Yeah, abstain, sorry, I haven't been sworn in yet.
Majors?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Dickinson?
Yes.
Item number 3, discuss possibly recommend council action to approve a grant application from Becky Clark for Pryor's Christmas holiday lights in the amount of $2,500. I guess the question is, do we need to acknowledge a new member of the board, or is that already in the...
That's super cool. I didn't put that on the agenda, and I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
We do need to swear her in. I'm not prepped to do that.
So we have enough to have a meeting anyway and just continue?
You do have a quorum without her. I'm so sorry.
You can see how it goes. Yeah, no, that's fine, but you can learn.
Becky, did you want to say anything about your...
I'll answer any questions anybody wants to know.
Does anybody have any questions about her application?
So with this, I mean, obviously, you know, we enjoy Christmas lights all year. Have you asked any local sources for funding out of curiosity?
Our $2,500 matching comes from Bank of Commerce, First Priority, and a GoFundMe page. We've also got some money from Economic Development, which we can't use as matching for you guys. So we do have other funding. The mayor's contributed some to pay for some things, so yeah, we're beating wishes. I've also contacted Chuck Hoskin, and he's checking. Don't know about that yet. Sent a grant application to GRDA. They supposedly were out of funding at this point in time. So we have checked with other sources. So.
And did I read and understand correctly that you don't have a nonprofit set up for that
No,
yet?
because
Okay.
I'm a subcontractor. I work for the city.
Okay.
The contractor that does the work for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. I guess my main concern. Can we open up discussion? Is that?
No, that's kind of, yeah, because I think I'm probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Can we maybe look at what all we have? One thing that's concerning me right now is there is no money in this fund. If we give 100% of what's been asked for tonight, we're going to be down to a couple of $1,000. Is that not correct, Jay? We can't touch the check that came in after the first.
Yeah, the funds that
Yeah,
weren't
we're not
contributed
able
to
to
the
use-
budget, right?
Yeah, we're not able to use anything that came in the new fiscal year. Tonight there are $6,000 worth of requests, and there's $10,000 left to award.
And
And
when
we've
is,
got 3/4 of a year left
right.
to live on that money. And we know that we have to somehow come up also with money out of that. The Christmas parade has routinely, the chamber puts it together, does all of the work, but it's pretty much a gift. It was never intended to be a fundraiser. It's a gift to the community. And so the motel, that was one of the things that has been funding, is the Christmas parade. So there are a few items that we know will happen and need some attention in the next 9 months. And there's also, like the Bluegrass Festival, something that just popped up that we know was going to be really good for the city. I would hate to see, and I think that what we have to look at tonight is, you know, they're good projects, but I think that we need to discuss where we are financially and how we want to deal with it before we start voting on any one particular project.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, you know, one thing that I look at is, you know, how many people are we planning on bringing into this area? You know, this tax was brought from people coming in and staying in our local area. What, you know, I would like to get back to opportunities that would also increase that value for us. And unfortunately, for this particular one, I'm not seeing that.
Well, you need to come down to the park any night, because every night I'm down there checking the lights. I check them once in the daytime, because it's easier to see what's out, and I check them again afterwards to make sure there's no things I missed.
Right.
And every time I'm down there, there's kids down there, there's parents down there, there's people that are passing through on their way home for the holidays, or they're here because their family's here. So we get a lot of people that are not only passing through and spending money here, but they're staying here and spending money here.
Right.
And it's quite an influx. If you go down to the park on just an average day, it's quite a great influx of people compared to a normal park afternoon.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited that it's been something that my kids have been able to enjoy as well. And obviously, families coming into town, we always make sure we drive by.
Unfortunately, if we don't get a budget, we won't be in Jordan this year. So that's just how it comes down, basically.
So can individuals?
Not only will you not be able to purchase new things, you're not going to be able to facilitate any
Well,
costs.
we hadn't planned on purchasing any new things, just replacements of things that are worn out. Economic development was able to come up with the funds to purchase 12 new boats. Over the last 2 seasons, and I won't mention names, but it starts with Street Department, has lost 24 bows out of our collection of bows. So we had to replace 12 of those this year from their budget. I was hoping if we get approved from you, then we're also gonna have another $600 to replace 12 of those, because right now we've got the best of the worst from when we replaced them to replace the ones that the bunch lost in 2022. So those are stapled together, they're glued together, they're cobbled together from different parts. They look like hell, and they're not anything I want to represent the city. So that was where I've been very frugal in my time so far on what I've done with ornaments, to try to make sure that there's enough money for this account to go ahead and buy another dozen bows to replace those, so we can get rid of the really sad looking ones and not have those up anywhere in town.
Right.
So, but no, we weren't gonna purchase anything new. The mayor had pledged to purchase the 2 cases of lights, strings of lights that we needed. Like I say, economic development's gonna pay for 12 bows. I was hoping we could get another 12 out of this budget. So everything else is just labor, zip ties, plastic wrap, just time.
Houston, can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
Do you have any expected grant applications that you haven't turned in yet for any amount of money?
The only one would be the Christmas parade, sir. That's it.
And same thing for Main Street, or you have things that you're waiting to?
Not that I am aware of, but that
Okay.
is not.
Right. Okay.
So I'm just trying to understand, because I don't, and I just don't know how this works, so I'm asking out of just pure curiosity. You said you're a subcontractor for the city, so I guess I'm confused, like, how this works.
Okay, I
In
was
terms
on
of-
council from 98 to 2002. During that time, we purchased $45,000 in Christmas lights. The Hotel Motel matched, we purchased them in $15,000 increments. Hotel Motel purchased one of those with our $15,000 matching before we found out that that was really not a kosher way to do it. At that time, I was taking care of them every day and every night. The manufacturers, Rob and Marsh Lights in Broken Arrow. In 2005, after I'd been on council for 3 years, and I noticed that the lights were not being maintained, you would drive by at night, Santa Claus's head would be out, the horses' legs would be running different directions, the wheels on the cart wouldn't be going, just, it looked like crap. So Robin had me present a proposal to the mayor at that time for him to come over and check them every year for 2006. $2,000. At that time, there was a discussion with the city attorney as far as whether it needed to be bid out, but because it was a specialty skills kind of work, there wasn't a lot of people you could bid that kind of thing to. The city attorney at that time decided it was a sole source provider for specialty labor, and so city council approved it. Then Robin got transferred to Oregon. So he wrote a letter to the city that said I was his authorized representative to do the maintenance and repair work that he would normally have done had he been here, and I've been taking care of it ever since. So, because there was somebody brought up, I guess at one of the council meetings recently, that I was being paid illegally, that should have been bid out at this time, but it falls under the sole source specialty skills part of the bid process. At least that was the way it was written in 2005. That's the bid process as it was then. So, and I've been doing it for almost 20 years. So.
And do we have any, I mean, I don't know if the mayor knows or Jay or you, how many people come and look at those? I don't know that there's a tangible way to like.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, we can put a car counter down there, but that's not gonna tell you who stops and gets out and looks at it. Although a lot of people drive by because it's very handy. You can go down Lock and it makes a nice curve around the lake. And when Robin designed it, he actually came over and took photographs, took measurements, took elevations, so that everything out there is a vignette. And it's set where it's set because that's a good placement for it. Like there's a skating family. Well, it's a low spot, so it would be a perfect place for a skating rink, so that's where those are. We've got the carriage and the horses set up in a certain area, so it's reflected on the pond. We've got the caroling family and the deer out by the pond, so it's reflected on the water. And then we make sure we have everything around the perimeter so that people can drive by and see whatever they want to see. But like I say, they're all very specifically designed for our park. They're all Victorian themed, and I've had several people ask, why don't we switch to LEDs? Because we use the mini incandescent lights. You cannot get many LED lights that are interchangeable, and as you notice I'm picking bulbs, because if you go down and look at, say, Rama, their lights are usually all one color, or maybe two colors, because they use LED lights. You can't take a bulb out of a string of LED in one color area and put it into another color area. It just doesn't work. So we use the little incandescent ones. We've tried twice now to put LEDs on them, and everybody overwhelmingly said it was awful. Look like big blobs of lights. Take it down, don't ever do it again. So we have stuck with these, which, you know, they don't quite last as long, but the difference is if a string of LEDs out, you throw away the whole string. On this, I can replace what I need to replace. So ours are dressed ornaments, so if you've got a man, he's got a clear face, he's got a red hat, he's got blue pants, but that's all because you pick out, like if he's got a blue hat, well, where it goes under his face, you take those blue bulbs out, you put clear ones in for his face. You gotta zip tie everything, because every kid, every duck, anybody that walks past it is gonna grab it by accident or on purpose, and so it just, you know, takes a lot of time. And we have, I think the last count is, we've got 36 snowflakes, no, we've got 11 snowflakes that go in the park, we've got 36 wreaths that go downtown, one wreath that goes on the street warehouse, which all the wreath stuff is being covered by economic development, and that's not part of the matching. And then we've got approximately 48 lighted ornaments in the park. Since I've started this, we've added 2 vignettes. We've got the kids that are fishing. One's caught a fish, one's catching, one's got his pole and his line in the water. And then we've added a couple building a snowman. Those were both added since I started this. They were designs I drew out and my uncle welded them for us. So, and we looked at the price of just the kid fishing would have been a $2,000 ornament if we bought it from a company, and my uncle charged us $150 to weld it for us. So I recycle everything. I don't waste, I don't throw it away, it gets reused. You know, even the LED lights that we took off the park when they didn't like them, we reused in the wreaths downtown. So we don't throw anything away. We reuse everything as much as possible.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Just from my perspective, I think the town puts a lot of money into the park and uses that to draw people to come to town, and I think people come to town for Christmas lights. That's a proven fact that people will travel to see Christmas lights and a Christmas display, so I think, in my opinion, it meets the basis of this board's money.
Well, and particularly when you look at what they've got on our Heights Park, they come through here, you know, there's a string of lights that people can stop on their way to wherever they're headed or wherever they're coming back from, that they come through the town and look at the lights. It's just part of their travel plan.
Barbara, you mentioned that we donate to the Christmas parade. Do you have, in years past, what that's been, an amount, any idea? Does,
Barbara?
You said,
Right.
yes, sir.
We usually ask for $3,500.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can scale that back a little bit if we need to. But everything's gone up.
sure.
And all the money's going, going down.
So that would leave like $500 for the rest of.
Right, right. If we, yeah, look at doing this and the next thing, so.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, if we look at approving this and the next line item, and then we give money to the parade, then we don't really need to show up for the rest of the year. We can be done.
And like, I mean,
Then we don't
Would be down to what? How much?
$500.
no money, so. That's why, that's why I wanna make sure we're utilizing it for,
I can probably find a way to do the parade without asking.
thank you for offering that up,
I
appreciate
just
you.
wish there was a way to like tangibly know, like when money was coming in from what, like, obviously this one, in years past, the
Another
Homestead Expo, we know
Question I have, is this,
when it comes in.
Houston, the money that you asked for the Bluegrass Festival, am I correct that you've already received the money? This is just to approve your report?
I have not received the money, but the money's been approved by the board, then by the budget, then by then by the city council. Now, you guys approve it now, go back to the budget, and then back to the city council.
Yeah, we're just approving to,
Is that money
Please
in the
approve
bank
next month.
account, however, and is it flagged for them? Is it encumbered and not part of what we're looking at tonight?
It should be encumbered already, and it's subtracted from that 10,000 you see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that I would have tonight that's not encumbered would be what I'm asking for the Okie, show.
Okay, and do you want to talk a little bit about, or did you work with homesteading last year?
The last 2 years. Yeah, so the last 2 years, if you guys don't know about the Okie homestead, it's a, yeah.
Is it okay
I'll wait
to
until, I'll wait until.
Well, no, but I also
Well,
think,
except
I think it would be helpful to hear all of it though, so we can make good decisions if like everything should go. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
And that was to look at it and see, look at what we have, everything we have here tonight that we're making decisions on, and then kind of put them together and see how much we can afford to pay out.
I don't dislike that idea personally, if that's
Okay,
something.
so you wanna, so let's table item number 3 and move forward to
Correct.
item number 4
And
temporarily?
get a report on the homestead.
Okay, so that's next on.
Yes,
that's
sir,
next.
yep, that is next on our list, yep.
So item 4 is discuss possible recommend council action to approve a grant application from Pryor Chamber of Commerce for Okie Homestead Expo in the amount of $3,500.
Yes. Okay, so we've worked with the Uncle Homestead. This will be their third show this year, or third show in the last 3 years. And if you guys know, if you haven't visited, it's out here at the fairgrounds. And so it is a huge event, brings in a lot of people from out of town. It actually brings in people that actually camp out there on the grounds as well. And they had over 125 vendors last year outside, and then they had the expo going on the inside of the fair, or the event center, lots of different things about homesteading. So it's a big event. Jennifer and I went last year. The place is packed, and they're staying in hotels or eating in our restaurants. And so it's a great event that we try to support and through this hotel motel tax, because it is recouping stays in our hotels and our restaurants. That's why we felt it was appropriate to use this money to help support them.
So you do feel that our goal here is really to fill hotel rooms?
Absolutely, 100%.
And that, I think, is something we need to look at with all of it, is to see if at least part of it, if our hotels are getting some income
Mhm.
from the event.
Right,
And you feel that that people are spending the weekend here?
yes, absolutely, 100%. Same can be said about the boat and tackle show, but it's quite obvious that we won't be able to support that this year, because we supported that the last couple of years, but that'll be in February, or March of this, I'm sorry, February. of this next coming year in 2025, so.
Now,
Which again will now be cut out this year.
Well, we
Okay.
won't be able to support it because we don't have enough money to get us back through the fiscal year.
Okay,
before-
so
before it
question,
revamps.
because you've dealt with multiple of these before.
Mhm.
If we scale back how much we're helping, or if we aren't able to help, are we gonna lose those in town? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if we're not,
So on the Okie Homestead, I put her on hold and said, listen, I need to find out how much money we have in the account. So that's when I called Jay or emailed Jay and said, hey, how much do we have left in here? And she told me. So I felt it was appropriate to ask for the $3,500 to help support her in this show. That's why I asked tonight. As far as the boat sport and tackle show, they will be fine without us. And in the Christmas parade, if I need to figure out another way to make that happen, we'll have a Christmas parade.
I just hate to lose,
I'm
like,
just gonna go to Main Street and ask them for their money.
I just hate to have things coming to town that people are for sure staying in hotels and eating at the restaurants and supporting
And
otherwise.
then, of course, when we get into the 5,000 that we did on Bluegrass, I think we all know how that went. There was a whole report on, we have numbers on that one, so.
What's your plan on the 3,500 that you're looking at us offering to, giving to you? What would you utilize that for on the,
It's all used for media,
just for
yeah.
media?
Mhm. Yeah, they'll use it for media to bring in, to make sure everybody, to get the message out there for everybody to come.
And how far out do you plan on trying to reach that media?
What now?
That media, I mean, like on the, just for example, you did, I mean, on the Bluegrass, I loved seeing literally the time slots that you were
Yes.
able to get. I mean, is that the sort of
Yes.
advertising you're trying to match the
Right.
same sort of caliber at this? Okay.
Right, and I won't know that until she gives me back.
Right,
all of that,
right.
yeah.
But no, that was, I mean, it's neat to see that that's where our money's going. That's what I want to see.
Right.
Bringing
Right.
people into town that are not here already, so. Yeah, okay.
What kind of a radius do you think the Homestead show? Are there that many of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a
Quite a
ton
few,
of them.
all,
Oh,
and
yeah.
more all the time.
And there's a lot of them, you know, from around this area. Northeast Oklahoma is huge, but there's people that come out from Kansas, there's people who come from Missouri, all over.
So like a 200-mile radius?
I'd say farther than that, there's actually
Farther?
people, yeah, there was actually someone coming from Canada last year. Because the homesteading, I don't know if you guys know, that's a huge thing. It's a huge thing.
How
It's
many,
almost like bluegrass.
Right.
It's a-
how many people do you know, how many people do you think came in last year?
Oh, I'd say there's probably a couple of thousand or more out there
Okay.
last year.
How many?
Couple of thousand or more, easy. So,
And it's like vendors and then teachable moments? as
vendors
well
and
as-
people, patrons,
Okay.
and they do workshops, all kinds of.
Workshops, thank you,
Yeah.
technical terms, right?
Yeah. Teachable workshops.
Teachable moments, I mean, in the workshop, yeah. He knew what I was going for.
This
Is
year,
it-
would you ask her for like a report on
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yes,
On how many came in and what her,
right, absolutely.
please?
Is it Monday through Friday? I'm sorry, Friday through Saturday,
think-
Sunday?
Yes.
Is that
So
how long it
they'll
lasts?
start setting up earlier in the week, you know,
Okay.
and then they'll open it up on, I believe Thursday evening is
Okay.
like for corporate and sponsors, and then from that point, it's all the way through Sunday. But Jennifer and I went last year, and it was huge. I mean, it took us forever to walk through all the vendors out there. And it was kind of chilly, so, but there was still people out there. It was amazing. And then you walk into the workshops, and that whole event center was just full of people giving, you know, things over beehives and, you know, freeze drying and all of those things. So,
I just have a question, are all these other grant applications matching funds grants, like, because I know we're matching whatever you were giving us. Are all these other people's applications the same way, they're all producing matching amounts?
so the way that works is I have to spend the money out of the chamber account first, and then I get reimbursed. I have to show expenses.
Barbara, you asked for a report. Did you ask for a report? Okay.
Okay, I have another question, because wait a minute, if we're paying for it out of the chamber, and then he's reimbursing, he's not actually spending any of his money, so he's not actually matching it. We've got 2,500 in donations that we're gonna be spending, and the 2,500 from you guys. We're not gonna be using our 2,500 to get reimbursed to pay us back for the 2,500 we spent. I guess that's the difference between the applications.
Well, I'm looking at their application right now, and they absolutely they're putting in a lot of money. It's not one of those like, that's covering everything. I believe right here, total expenses, $5,000 for that, I mean,
Yeah, they are looking at matching and adding quite a bit of funds to
Yeah.
that. The benefit I think that I see in this particular situation here is that
I'm not,
they're,
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
don't mean to
okay.
be rude, I don't really care about the benefit
Oh,
of it, I'm
okay.
just trying to make sure that everybody's on the same level playing
oh,
field.
I
here.
misunderstood. You, you,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
wanted to
not
talk
me.
about it, I
I'm not-
misunderstood.
No, I just
So-
wanted to make sure that everybody had to match the same way we're having to match.
well, and that's not one of our, that's not one of our.
It's not a requirement.
No,
we
that's
have.
not one of our requirements.
Really? Okay.
Matching isn't a requirement, I don't think there should be a you against her
No.
situation.
Right.
Either
Oh,
you're not
no,
competing
no.
with her, and
No.
you're not competing with him.
I don't
I
know
just
if
wanna make
she
sure
would
that
do
if we
that.
were asked to do the same things for our application, that other people are being asked to do the same things on their application.
I
Yes,
think matching is just on there for informational purposes, for consideration, it's not a requirement, it's not a requirement to be nonprofit as far as I know. The main thing we're wanting to do is to generate sales tax and Pryor's is the way my understanding of the situation is.
Yes.
Bring people to town, get people spending money here, and if your thing does that, then that's what we should be for.
I agree. I agree.
And you both do that, so.
Yep.
That's all I had. Thank you.
So what,
If you were done with them, sorry.
I'm just, do we wanna go back to item 3 now, that you've heard item 4? Or do we wanna vote on item 4 while it's still on the table? Somebody make a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve number 4.
I'll
The
sec-
Okie Homestead.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the grant application for Pryor Area Chamber of Commerce for Oklahoma homestead exemption for the amount of $3,500. So we'll vote
Majors,
yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yes,
Okay, so now we can go back to 3.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll go back to number 3, which is discussing the grant application for Becky Clark for Pryor Christmas holiday lights in the amount of $2,500. I think just out of the, let's just see if we have any conflict here. I'm gonna make a motion to approve this. And I'm making that motion on the basis of, I don't really want to save back funds in case somebody else pops up at the end of the year. We have a good organization here that brings in money, that brings in people to town. They've done it historically without our help for the most part recently that I know of. And I don't really see the ideas of holding back money in case something pops up later. I think we'd address that at that time if we needed to. So that's my motion, if anybody would like to second it, or we can discuss more.
I have no further discussion to be had. So Jay, could you educate us on what occurs if nobody wants to second?
So if no one seconds the motion, there's nothing to vote on.
Right.
If you seconded it, you would still be able to vote no when we vote.
Okay, that's where maybe I was stuck.
Yeah, we
Okay,
just don't know what.
thanks.
Second, it doesn't mean you approve, it just
Yeah,
means you
you're
put
not
it to the
approving
vote.
it by second.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll throw a second in for a vote then. Yep.
I think we'll probably just go ahead and vote for it and
Okay.
then figure it out.
Okay, so we'll call a vote for the $2,500 to the Pryor Christmas holiday lights to approve.
Williams,
No.
Dickinson,
No.
Hawkins,
No,
Majors.
Yes.
Is there a way to?
Thank you for your time. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Okay, so we'll move to item number 5, discuss possible recommend council action to approve final expense report from the Pryor Area Chamber of Commerce for Bluegrass and Chili Festival held September 6th through 7th, 2024 in the amount of $4,960.
Adam, you wanna come up with me and talk about the success of this event that we had? I think most people probably realize it.
I'd love to hear.
You'll notice that the expense report shows kind of a line item of where the money was spent, and there was some in-kind that was given to us on top of that. So the batch to per se in this was they doubled that.
Good.
So what we gave them, they basically
I
doubled.
remember you mentioning that, yeah. Good.
But the event was very, very successful. I think we were averaging somewhere around 3,000 to 5,000 people per day. If you came out and enjoyed it, you've seen how many people were right across the street in this green space, which was a dream come true for a couple of individuals, namely Dr. Fuller and John Hawkins. And so we had a great, in fact, we had a wrap-up meeting today to go line by line with that group and to go over the successes and what we could do different for next year. And everybody was pretty excited about, you know, the turnout and how well it went. And all of the downtown businesses basically have come to us and said, hey, we had some record days. Edge and Burn set records.
The Village Shop, all reported record days.
That's awesome.
Dollar General.
I can imagine.
Biddy Bangs.
Biddy Bangs.
Oh, yeah,
Said
yeah.
that he sold out of most of his materials for putting up tents and setup. So out of the $75,000 that the EDTA invested in it, we made back that 75 from the festival with sponsorships and pop and souvenir sales that day. Of course, the 5,000 wasn't included in that number, but we used Placer AI. They provided us a report. We're looking at purchasing that program for the city to use for the EDTA, looking to purchase it for the city so that you'll be able to draw a fence around like the park and say during those nights that the lights are up, this is how many unique phones visited. And it will also say this is how many came from outside of the Pryor area. So using that technology, they estimated that just in the green space, they didn't run it up and down Main Street, just in the green space were 4,500 unique cell phones. And all it does is tell you whether it's an Apple or Android.
I was gonna say, and the kids don't have cell phones, so you're
Right.
not like,
So it's a lot
And they
more.
don't count the flip phones that were out there. So,
Probably,
if you use
probably
a
come up
rocking
with
flip
some
phone
of
out
those.
there, you're not getting counted. But it was a big success. We talked about the wrap up today with how much the advertising put into it. We felt like it really increased the awareness of it, especially since it was the first time in Pryor. Lots of people responded back on the survey showing that 99.5, I believe, and Channel 6 were two of the top sources of how did you find out about the festival being in Pryor. So this definitely provided a payback. Plus the hotels, when we went around talking to them, as soon as they knew the dates were there, they had people start calling in, booking them, and filling up. So this
RV
really
parks, everything. The RBOs, they were all full. And we talked actually in our meeting today, we actually talked about the advertising and ways that we could do that differently next year and let me not have to use as much money advertising, just go some different routes. But I think it was definitely needed for the first time being in Pryor. We really needed to get it out. And so I think the $5,000 was a huge benefit to the success that we had of the event.
Did you manage all of the promo on it?
No, there was a company that managed all the promo.
Oh,
Yeah, the invoice that you have, there's
The
two
very
different
last
ones.
page there, yeah.
They managed it.
is
and
that
again,
the one that's been
what-
doing it?
What's reflected on this invoice is only half of what we got. They doubled it.
Gotcha.
And did you check the hotels? Just scan them and? you
Just
feel
scanning
that-
them, yeah, they were full. And then like the entertainment, the rooms that the EDTA booked for some of the entertainment, called already and said, we'd love to have them back. Our hotel was full. Not only did we have the entertainers here, but there were people staying here and they could see them walking in the door. So there was a lot of activity and they stayed.
Downtown people were ecstatic.
And we made sure that those were inside the hotel motel district for those rooms that the EDTA booked. So they were in Pryor Hotel.
Right.
So
We
that
didn't
was
send them
important.
out east or
Far
south. So,
Well, thank you guys.
huge success.
Yeah, no, I got to go.
Congratulations,
It was
was
exciting.
really good.
Yeah.
Good call.
For the,
Those two back there should have been up here too, but
Uh,
we couldn't have all done it without the four of us, so,
No, it was a big project, so glad we could be a part of it. Thanks for asking us, guys.
thank
for the
you.
promos, could we make sure, just as far as my personal opinion, that Pryor, Oklahoma is more prominently displayed, especially since this is moving from town to town and now we've got it like this? I would have liked to have seen Pryor, Oklahoma on that, just so whenever this pops up on somebody's website,
Right.
they see, Pryor, Oklahoma on there
Absolutely.
somewhere. And this concert listing says it's in Wagner, so we might wanna make sure that they,
So I
promote
believe
Pryor more often.
that one picked up from the Tulsa World that ran an inaccurate advertisement
Yeah,
and then had to print a retraction.
yeah.
Okay.
We did great, obviously, that's something
Sure.
that we can,
Yeah, and they have a marketing person that does all of that. She was in our meeting today, so those are definitely things that we can tweak next year.
We surely did have a busy September.
Yes, yes, we did.
Well, that was a topic of conversation today too.
I can imagine.
Did we have to vote on that or no?
I think so, right? We get to vote on that?
Oh,
you can make
I
a
need
motion.
a motion.
Yeah, make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept we'll vote to approve the final expense report from the Pryor Chamber of Commerce for Bluegrass and Chili Festival for the amount of $4,960.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Majors,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
We need to schedule next meeting. Do we have anything else coming up?
That's just an item I leave there in case you decide you want to.
We'll just table that. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Sweet.
second.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
And you could say all in favor.
All in favor?
Bye.
Before we all go, can we